Hey guys, so I'm Troy, and welcome to my studio. um, as you can see, I am a bit of an audiophile. I do have a lot of records behind me. I've been collecting these for over 20 years, I should say, and have well over 1,000 records in my collection. Just to say a few things. Um, a little bit about me. I'm just gonna go to some photos real quick. I am actually a performer. I am a vocalist. I am classically trained as a bass baritone. I studied here at UCO. So this photo right there, or well, that one was my last stage shot on Mitchell Hall Theater. This right here, these are some shots from 2017 in the Jazz Lab. We did a children's opera, and I sang the role of donkey and slash mule. And that's me holding a really long pitch. But yeah, that was a fun time. So I have performed opera, art song, sacred music, oratorio, jazz, pop, um, madrigals, you name it. Well, almost. There are some world things I have not done, but overall, I have performed a lot of music. Outside of that, I am also an educator. I taught private piano and voice for many years up until this past June. I decided to take a break, with the current situation and having in-person lessons is just I'm a little apprehensive for that right now. So it's like, yeah, this might be a time to take a break. But I really am big into music theory, and I feel that whatever your instrument is, even if it's voice, you should always have a strong foundation of how music theory works. That's just my philosophy. Outside of that type of theoretical lecture, I have lectured historically. This is me and Maestro Eric Grigg. He is a collaborative pianist here at the UCO School of Music, and he's performed on every recital that I've ever sang on, and he's just amazing. But this is me in the UCO library at February 2019, for Black History Month. We did a celebration called Black Magic, and my contribution was in two parts. The first part was a lecture about Langston Hughes and his poetry and how his poetry was set to music by African American composers in the 20th century. And then the second part of my lecture, I got to talk about the birth of hip hop through the birth, or I should say, Black American music of the 40s and 50s, how it in turn influenced Jamaican indigenous music, which in turn influenced hip hop. And so this was a fun time and a great lecture, and I just love sharing stories like that. Also, outside of that, I'm also a screen actor. So these are some shots of me, and that's John Souders. We are filming an upcoming movie. Ooh, that's sideways. I gotta fix that one. Okay, yeah, sorry about that, guys. We're filming a movie called Desert Island. That's John, and that's the director, Matt. And oh God, that's crooked too. Okay, look, sorry about that. I'll get that together. There, that's better. So yeah, Matt Miller, he's the director and the owner and a producer. Oh, that's Matt right there. Of 1984 Studios. He's an award-winning film director. He actually just won an award from this Colorado Film Festival for a short experimental film called End of Days, which I got to sing on the soundtrack last year, which is really cool. And so this is me and John Souders again. John and his twin, Aaron, me and Matt right there. John and his twin, Aaron Souders, they actually host a podcast out of the Tower Theater called We Apologize for the Interruption. And John actually has a trivia night at the Pump Bar in Oklahoma City. So it's really cool to be working with these fantastic guys, and it's just really been a blessing, and I'm just thankful for that. Outside of that, I'm also a composer and arranger. Before I even set foot on an operatic stage, I started as a songwriter in the early aughts and started making beats on Cubase and using Fruity Loops, and got into production, and then somehow just auditioned for the Tulsa Opera and got into it. So that's how that happened. So I guess that kind of answers why I'm here in the class, because I am a songwriter and I have released my own music independently, and just kind of curious of what the next step should be. Should we consult Taxi A&R, or do you pitch it yourself. You know, there's so many questions and so many possibilities. So that's kind of why I'm here, to take the publishing to the next level. Um, what else is there? My superheroes. Okay, let's see. Well, I gotta say honestly, if we're talking fictional superheroes, I gotta go with Storm from X-Men because she was the first black representation of any uh, comic book person I'd ever seen at 10 years old. So, and representation matters. So she's definitely my favorite. Plus, those powers are cool. How could you not do that? But outside of that, if I have to say like a real superhero, like a real person, I would say Marcus Garvey. He was a Jamaican man. I am a first generation American. I grew up in New York City. My parents are from Jamaica, West Indies. And so growing up in New York City with immigrant parents and coming to Oklahoma, it's been an interesting experience. But anyway, to bring it all back together, Marcus Garvey was a Jamaican hero who kind of has an interesting background if you research him, and was once arrested for tax fraud in the US, but was quickly released. And then, anyway, so that's my favorite superhero. You can do your homework on that. I hope I've answered all the questions. I just didn't want to do a 200 word thing. I can, and I can do it really quickly, but I figured this would be more fun. So if you have any more questions for me, let me just show you that you can go to my website. Let's see where that is. Oh, here we go. So this is my website here, troyanthonysmall.com. If you have any questions, that's you can go ahead here up to the top and hear my latest single. What else? If you want to hear any samples of music or videos, they're all right there. Every now and then I live stream if like I want to spin some records or something like that on YouTube, because the license is covered on YouTube. Whole nother story with Facebook. But yeah, I think that's all I want to say for now. If you ever have questions, just let me know. And welcome.